So you have an outdoors hobby or some other interest that's just awesome, and you've decided you'd like to document and share it more. It might be kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, biking, hiking, camping, or whatever adventures you're up to in the great outdoors. Perhaps you've thought about whether starting a YouTube channel might be right for you and wondering how to go about it. This video shows how to get started. My name is Patrik, and I run the YouTube channel Air on the Water, which focuses on experiencing the great outdoors from kayaks and stand-up paddleboards, often inflatable, thus the name Air on the Water. Recently, I received a suggestion from another kayaker to perhaps speak a bit about how one might go about putting together a photo or a video footage from one's adventures on the water, and compiling that into videos that showcase those great trips and memories. After all, as outdoor aficionados, paddlers, or whatever it might be, we experience a lot of beautiful or inspiring moments out there, and part of the fun is often to share that with others, and documenting them with a camera is a great way both for that and for your own memories. In some cases, you see something more unusual that it would be almost an absolute shame to just keep to yourself. And in that case, starting a YouTube channel is a really nice way to go about it. You could, of course, share your footage in many formats and on many platforms. It could be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever suits you best. And often, these can be nice to use in combination with a YouTube channel as well. I started the Air on the Water channel towards the end of the summer in 2022, when I realized I had so much video footage piled up from paddling trips that it really was a shame that it wasn't being put to better use. And while sharing a photo or video on Facebook or Instagram can be a fun way to share with friends and a broader audience, I felt as time went on that, after a while, those posts go further and further down in the feed and they get harder to find. So in some cases, even if there's some particularly useful information or worthwhile moments, in a couple of months, few people, if anyone, might be able to find it or see it. So I had actually gotten heavily into inflatable kayaking especially, and I was learning so much about the sport that I felt that I somehow wanted to share those learnings and experiences as well, since I knew that it could be helpful for others, because I had found other paddlers' YouTube videos enormously helpful when I started out, and I still do in many cases. So whatever your motivation is, you'd just like to put together your videos or photos in a nice way and share the memories, or you'd like to showcase a particular outdoor location as a recommendation to others, or you'd like to share some tips and tricks, I found that a YouTube channel is a nice way to do that. It can be really helpful for others and fun for yourself and others. It kind of becomes your own home online, where you can post your videos and content in a way that suits your interest and others that share them with you. So here is how to do that. What you need is quite simple, really. A camera to record videos or photos, of course. As I got into kayaking, I initially just used my phone. Rather soon, I was clever enough to realize that having it in a waterproof case attached to my life jacket with a strap of some sort was a pretty good idea, so you don't have bad luck and drop it into the water. I know quite a few people who have managed that and lost phones, so something to stay away from. A phone can be great for filming when you're not moving around, but as soon as you're getting more active, it gets trickier. At the beginning of my paddling journey, I had to stop the kayak rather often to take photos or to film, which made every trip take a lot longer. And the solution was pretty simple: getting an action camera that you can wear with a chest or head strap or attached to your kayak or stand-up paddleboard or bike or whatever it might be. All of a sudden, with an action camera, you're able to film freely while you're moving around, and you can use voice commands to control the camera so your hands are free. And you can focus on the experience and later on use the footage in the way that you want. If you get into more intense situations, you might really need to focus on what's going on, and the filming kind of has to be secondary. In that case, just turning the camera on and letting it roll is quite convenient. Some popular action camera brands these days are GoPro, DJI, and Insta360. And while the newest models with really high quality might cost you up to $400 or $500 or euros or even more, you can probably get an older or used model for much less and still get some good video quality and resolution that works great on YouTube. One piece of advice here is that if you invest in an action camera, be prepared for that. You'll probably want to spend more money than you initially think on accessories as well. Mounts, batteries, cases, and so on. But if you don't feel like that's something you need right now, just using your phone works great, as long as you're able to stop every now and then and film or take photos. Or you might use a special stand or mount for your phone to be able to film while you move. Anyway, so once you have some footage compiled and you have videos and photos from more and more activities, I'd also recommend early on to set up a clear system for how you store all those clips. For me, it's as easy as a date-based folder structure with the names of the trips and perhaps which kayak I used, etc. Later on, this will save you a lot of time, so you don't have to go looking for all of those clips. The next thing you'll need is video editing software of some sort. If you're looking to do more than just share your unedited video clips and photos. So this way, you're able to combine video clips, photos, edit sound, add music, add text and effects, and so on. The good news is that it's not particularly hard to learn. There are a lot of good video editing options out there, but one free editor that I'd recommend for YouTube creation is actually Adobe Premiere Rush. It should be available free, and it provides the tools to create videos rather flexibly without the extra bells and whistles, and it's rather intuitive once you get the hang of it. Later on, if you're looking for more advanced editing options and functionality, something like DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere Pro might be an upgrade. When editing, what you essentially do in any video editor is that you have this canvas of sorts that you drag your clips or photos onto. You might trim them, change speed, add effects, move them around, and basically you create a story that showcases your adventure or conveys the information that you want to share. You can record voice audio to add to your video, or speak into the camera while you're out there recording. And you can add text and effects to your video to make it more interesting to the viewer. You can also use free music as a backdrop to your video. Some might be available for free through the editor you're using, or you can just go to YouTube Studio and the free music and sound effects library that's included there. But just make sure when you upload a video to include any credits to the composer if that's required. In YouTube Studio, you can see for each song which text to include if needed. How to edit a video is a science in and of itself. There's no limit to how much you can talk about that. But it can be a lot of fun, and it's also a great learning process as you experiment with combining footage in different ways. This is what the editing process might look like in Adobe Premiere Rush, for example. It can be much simpler than this if the video doesn't have as many components, and can also be much more complex, depending on what you want to accomplish. Key things to think of are to spend some extra time on the first 15 to 30 seconds to try to engage the viewer and keep them watching the rest of your video. One thing that takes a lot of time in editing is to trim your clips down, cutting them down to shorter length, as you might have a 30-minute recording that you'll really want to just select key moments from in order to make it a 3-minute video. On YouTube or any other social media platform, people are bombarded with information and other options of things to see and experience these days. So if you're making an entertainment video rather than an educational video, one of the toughest things to learn is to cut down the footage so you're able to retain the interest of your viewer. It's much easier to create a 20-minute video than a 2-minute video, but a majority of viewers, at least when you're starting out, are more likely to watch the first minutes of your video on average. So keeping it shorter rather than longer is good to consider. It's kind of a shame if you've uploaded a 1.5 hour long video and most people just view the first minutes of it. Now that you've cut and compiled your video in the way that you want it to turn out, which can be a time-consuming process but a lot of fun and a great way to relive the memories. it's time to use the distribution platform or platforms of your choice. You might upload your video on Facebook, on YouTube, or shorter versions of it on Instagram, for example. You could post a link to your YouTube video on Facebook or elsewhere so people can find it. And if you've created your own channel on YouTube, so you're now able to share your content there, then go ahead. Upload the video to YouTube after exporting it from your video editor, of course. And make sure you add key things like a good title, which is really important, a description of the video, and a thumbnail, which is a small picture that shows what the video is about and gains the interest of potential viewers. Spending time on an engaging title and thumbnail that draws attention is really important here. Once you're done with this, you upload the video, and now you choose whether it's to be private, meaning only you can see it for the time being, unlisted, meaning only those that have the link to the video can see it, or public, meaning everyone can see it. One thing that can be confusing the first time you do this is that YouTube will take some time to process the video, and initially it might show in SD, a resolution as low as 360p, which really doesn't look good. So if you're uploading a long video, especially in full HD, 1080p or 4K high resolution, it might actually take hours until it's uploaded in full quality. Sometimes it goes quicker, sometimes it can take even longer. So a trick here can be to set the video as unlisted until YouTube's processing is complete. Then make the video public. This way, the people who view your video will get the best impression right away. All right, now your video is out there and it's time to show the world. So let your friends know, perhaps share this on Facebook or elsewhere on the internet, and your YouTube adventure has started. The real fun is when your library of videos starts growing. It becomes a great collection of memories for yourself and for others. And if you're making informational videos, people keep finding them as time goes on, and you can really help others out. And of course, you're learning as you're doing this, so your videos tend to get better and better, and that can be fun in and of itself. Also, when you're out there in the great outdoors and you're filming can kind of give you an extra perspective on what you're experiencing. So you might be looking for additional camera angles and looking at things in a different way that adds to your outdoor adventure. So this is just a quick overview of the process. There's no limit to how much one can learn about this really, but the basic process is quite simple. So get your hands on a camera, get some editing software, and upload to YouTube. And there you go. If you found this interesting or helpful, feel free to leave a like and a comment in the comment section below. It might inspire me to create more videos like this on how to document your outdoors adventure on YouTube. If you like kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding, or just beautiful sights on the water in general, you're more than welcome to subscribe to this channel, Air on the Water. And I also have another channel, Patrik's Adventures, which focuses more on travel and miscellaneous experiences, where I also upload clips from time to time. Thank you for watching, and have a great time out there in the great outdoors. See you on YouTube.